It came back to the seed had the most of glucoraphanin. And turns out if you crush, juice, bite, or freeze, you would release these two compounds.
We are a little bit concerned of these. They've got a bit of fluff on them, and I want to show you, like, I want to know, is that normal or have I done it wrong? Can you see?
Yeah, it's interesting that that fluff in that instance is actually called root hairs.
You also say that sprouts are cancer fighting and help protect us from cardiovascular disease and pollutants in the environment. How so?
Well, for one, they have large amounts of vitamin C. So vitamin C is builds healthy immune system. The the
Which is
react
what which is what we want, especially during this COVID pandemic.
Yeah, I'm very careful not to use, to talk about that or to give medical or nutritional advice because in the way I'm a simple guy living in the desert, who's eating sprouts. But what I did read, and I'm going to give a shout out to Dr. Jed Fahey at Johns Hopkins University. And Jed was tasked over 20 years ago to find out. They knew that cruciferous vegetables had this compound called glucoraphanin. And they knew that glucoraphanin, when it was mixed with an enzyme called myrosinase, formed sulforaphane. And in 2019, there were probably 1,500 papers on the benefits of sulforaphane coming from cruciferous vegetables. I reached out to Dr. Fahey because I really wanted to understand the history of sulforaphane and broccoli sprouts and what he came up with when he was looking for the variety of broccoli that had the most sulforaphane. It turned out it wasn't the variety, it was the stage. And it came back to the seed had the most of glucoraphanin. And turns out if you crush, juice, bite, or freeze, you would release these two compounds. And the theory behind it is part of the plant's defensive mechanism. So if you have the plant and a pest comes and it bites through, it will mix the glucoraphanin and the myrosinase and they'll form like a little poison. And that poison will make the bug go away and the plant stays strong. Well, it turns out that reaction, this chemical reaction, is what helps protect the body and affects the cancer cells and other things. So I don't want to go too far into detail because it's out of my pay grade. But what I could tell you is when I researched and I spoke to people who did know, it turns out that for cardiovascular disease, for inflammation, for diabetes, for weight loss, for all of these things, that if the plant-based, we know the whole food plant-based diet works, right, for dealing with these. Well, turns out that the broccoli sprouts and the other sprouts are a concentrated version of the micronutrients, phytonutrients, and compounds that exist in the mature vegetables. And it turns out that as the broccoli seed grows from sprout to microgreen to broccoli, it doesn't increase the amount of the sulforaphane. So there's a finite amount in every seed. So as the plant gets bigger, the glucoraphanin and sulforaphane actually get diluted. Now, other things form. The vitamin C increases, the fiber increases, so there's benefits. So the current jury is recommending to eat mature vegetables and sprouts. And that's
How
where,
much how many sprouts? Like for the average person, how many sprouts a day? You said breakfast, lunch, and dinner. How much? Like a cup of sprouts, half a cup?
well, Melissa, I I know I'm very serious, right? And I would love for people to eat sprouts at every meal. Realistically, I think the research is about 100 grams or 1 cup of broccoli sprouts a day would be very good, right? In terms of getting this growing your own multivitamin. Um, you would get a lot with 1 cup. There's different sprouts have different benefits, like the chia sprouts and the flax sprouts have omega 3s in them. So that's really great. The the green peas and the lentils have higher amounts of protein in them. So I would think about diversity of food, thinking about getting a lot of sprouts, and then looking for windows of where you can add sprouts to the diet of you and your family.
I love it. You've definitely inspired me. I feel like I'm now converted to sprouts. My husband will be very, very happy with this. So, for those of you that are listening to this, if you want to see what I'm about to do, head over to YouTube and you can watch the video. But right here, I have some sprouts. So here are my sprouts. I've got this one here, and we've got some. Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm trying not to drop them. We've got some broccoli sprouts and sunflower sprouts right here.
Wow.
So these are organic. They're tested for impurities and high germination. And I'll link to where we got them from in the show notes so people can check that out. Now they were soaked overnight and they're washed 3 times a day. They were kept in a dark place. Now we are a little bit concerned of these. They've got a bit of fluff on them. And I want to show you, like, I want to know, is that normal or have I done it wrong? Can you see?
Yeah, it's interesting that that fluff in that instance is actually called root hairs.
So it's not mold.
No, no, that is
Okay, phew, because we were like, "We've done it wrong."
no, no, those are root hairs. And
Mhm.
basically, what happens is when you're growing them, like in the jar instance, and you're rinsing them, they're a little confused, right? Because in the ground, the roots would go down looking for water. But now you're
Yes.
rinsing and the water is to the left and to the right and to the up and the down, and that it needs the water to actually grow. So they're a little confused, and those are the root hairs.
They're so pretty, and I love what you said before, that we need to start the digestion process, and this doesn't just go for sprouts, but it begins with our eyes and really admiring them. So I love how beautiful they are. So how do we start? Where do we begin? Like, speak to me like I'm a total newbie. And because I know for me, I did think, oh, it's too hard. What if I do it wrong? Like, I don't really know how to do this. And over here, I've got some broccoli sprouts, broccoli
Let's see.
seeds.
Yes.
We've got some radish,
Wow. Daikon
and
radish yet.
we've got some purple basil or basil, as you would say.
Wow. I love the
We've
purple.
we've got watercress, sunflower, and purple radish. So we are really excited to start sprouting.